Good evening. My name is William Dover, and this is my video for police community relations on police strategies to address complaints of excessive force. The job description of a police officer is, very dangerous. They encounter many different people on a daily basis. They never know what they're going to encounter or what a day at the office is going to be like for a police officer. Officer safety is a top priority. They have families just like everyone else, and it is important that they go home to their family at night. Police officers are highly respected public officials, and public safety is their job duty. They need to protect themselves, and they need to protect everyone within the community. They're going to have to use force at times in their career. Unfortunately, everyone is not respectful and compliant. There are people who don't like cops, who are going to try and run away to avoid going to jail for whatever reason. There are people who are going to fight. Some people are good people, but they might have made a wrong decision and be high and just acting crazy and trying to fight the cops. And even though that's something that they wouldn't normally do, and that's not their typical character. So police officers can't hold grudges. It is part of what they do. They need to remain as calm as they can. They need to stay in control of situations the best they can. Excessive force is a very controversial debate in modern policing. We see it on the news. Police are being blasted negatively by the media for using force, even though it's something they have to do sometimes. There are cases, such as the case in North Charleston, where Officer Michael Slager shot Walter Scott in the back as he was running away. Shooting Mr. Scott in the back was not the appropriate action that Officer Slager should have taken. Physical takedown would have been a much better route, and then that brought a huge negative impact on the North Charleston Police Department, and it allowed to many other police departments to look at and revise their strategies. A spokesperson with the York County Sheriff's Department said that they didn't need to really revise their strategies or any of their hiring process or anything, because they've already taken situations like that into they've looked at them into the picture, and they think that their strategies are the best, and that if their strategies should already be as good as they can be, and that an incident like this shouldn't change anything. They said that strategies like this all start with your hiring process and getting the best people in the door. You obviously don't want any violent or crazy person being a police officer. You don't want gang members, drug users, murderers, rapists, anyone who's been convicted of assault, battery, burglary, anything like that. Those are not the type of people you want to be a police officer. So it really all starts with your hiring process and then your training process. You get the right people in the door, you train them, you send them through academy. Each police department has their own policies and procedures, so you do your own training to how you want your officers to be, and then you send them in the field. But it is important to use routine training. This keeps officers routine training keeps officers in touch with their training methods, so that they know what to do whenever they do encounter a situation. Like I said, the York County Sheriff's Office, they said that their hiring process and their training process is the best way they eliminate having complaints. But you are going to have complaints against your police department. It happens. It's inevitable. Whenever you do have a complaint, no matter whether it's just an officer cussed at me or an officer pushed me or anything like that, you need to seriously take a look at it. Because people change, the mindsets of people change for whatever reason. So, you always need to just stay in touch. Police officers are just normal human beings, and they have emotions just like everyone else. But it's important that they keep their emotions intact and stay in boundaries and do not cross that thin line to being excessive. Internal affairs. Many departments have internal affairs who look into these investigations or bring in outside agencies such as SLED or even higher federal government agencies. Bringing in other agencies lets the public know that you're not trying to cover your agency or protect any of your officers. So that's always a real good idea. That way, like I said, people know that you're not just trying to cover anything up. When police officers do get out of line, they use excessive force when they shouldn't. So it is very important to use the use of force continuum model. This model shows a suspect's actions and a police officer's actions. If the suspect is being compliant, officers just use verbal commands. If the suspect is being assaultive, they can use physical takedowns, OC sprays, things like that. If the suspect is trying to cause serious injury or death, officers can use lethal weapons such as their firearm, which they should be trained on. And they use this model so they can stay compliant. But if a suspect goes from being assaultive to compliant, an officer must go from having a weapon out to being just verbal. You can't get mad at someone that tried to run away or tried to fight you and then punch them after you had them in handcuffs. That it don't work like that. So it is very important to get the right people in the door, train them, and it's very important for officers to use their training and keep their emotions in touch while on the job. Thank you.